Victor.
Yeah.
Edmont's gonna fall into it just because he wants to see if he can get if he can keep his ear to the ground for any chatterings going on.
The 5 men are brought to this structure here. It's the only structure that has a roof. Not much of a roof. But it's also the only structure you really can't see inside of. There are a couple posted guards at the front that exchange some words you can't hear with the men bringing them over. Then the 5 of them are led inside. The guards take their posts up inside. Looks like there's an entrance in the north here where the guys came in, and also one off to the side that is similarly guarded.
Well, so Victor will. I guess this would be the main road, right?
Yes.
So getting a little closer to it, what does the guard situation look like?
There's a man posted outside of each door, and there's no shortage of just incidental workers around that can watch you and see what you're doing. And you think Evie's sneaking up behind you too. Like, she can't leave well enough alone.
Evie's just kind of minding her own business over here.
Where did Orson go?
So would it be? I'm assuming Orson's probably with you guys.
And Orson's probably doing a push broom thing. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's going to keep his head down until y'all figure out what you're doing.
So is it? So Victor's gonna try and sort of walk around the structure to see, is there any like windows or any other openings? Is it just those 2 doors? As innocuous.
There aren't. You can see where there might have been windows at one point. They're now boarded up. The roof is a ramshackle situation that even a minor windstorm would probably tear apart. Nobody attempts to stop you if you just want to like wander the perimeter of the building, but you definitely catch the eye line of the man standing in front of the door. Watches you as you continue south around the wall. But you do not have a vantage point to see inside.
So yeah, so as Victor kind of walks around and comes back up to the north section,
Yeah.
he's gonna want
The guard at this door sees you come up as you come around the corner, looking over. Have you come to volunteer?
I have. What can I do to help?
He looks surprised.
Oh, Lord.
Very well. What is your name?
Vincent.
See, Victor had one ready to go. He's a pro.
And are you... You must be one of Havaruk's anointed.
Am?
He nods. Very well. I wasn't told any of the anointed were coming today. Very well. And he asks, your hands, please.
Victor will hold out his hands.
And he reaches inside one of his robes, and you see he has 3 sets of iron manacles. And he selects one. And he's about to clap your hands into manacles.
Okay, question before he does this.
Yeah.
Are these manacles that Victor will be able to take off with a sleight of hand check?
No. They are not. No, it would require a Thieves' Tools check at disadvantage.
Okay.
And perhaps sleight of hand check would be appropriate to ensure that they can't see what you're doing.
Okay. And if I were to attack with manacles on, would that be a disadvantage?
That kind of depends on what the manacles are chained to. Will determine whether or not you're restrained.
Well, knowing that Evie is following me,
Okay.
Victor will hold his hands and let the man do his thing.
And yeah, he clasps these manacles on, shackles a crossbar between them. He asks whether you have fasted appropriately.
Victor nods and solemnly says, I have.
And then he reaches up to lower the hood down the back of your face.
Okay.
And he does and reveals. All right, well, you'll have to see the barber first. I can see to that right now if you like.
May as well.
Evie, where are you witness? If you're in that position there, you can't see what's going on.
Okay, I'm listening.
If you're in that position, you can't hear what's going on either. Remember, there's activity all around.
All right, how about here?
If you're in that position, yeah, you can see what's happening from that distance. Victor. You see Victor with crossbar manacles and no longer wearing his hood.
God damn it.
The door into the building opens. Victor, when the door opens, just a crack, just enough for the man to speak some words through to somebody on the other side, you hear weeping and praying inside this dark building. There's not so much as a candle flickering inside.
Okay.
They had
I
a
have
stool.
telepathy to Victor, right?
You what?
I have telepathy to Victor, right?
I think it's up to Victor.
I assume that, yeah, we would have established that before we started going in the village.
Is this like a solid bar instead of chains, or what?
Yeah, it's a crossbar manacle. So it's not a chain so much. And then there's a large metal loop on either side of his wrist on the outside to chain him to something. Instead, he just plops this wooden stool down on the ground, makes sure it sits right, bids you to sit on it, and then he takes out this large straight razor and starts shaving all the hair off of your head.
So Victor can see in the area right now.
I mean, you could hear inside the door for a moment, but there was not any light inside. There was not much to see. He opened the door, spoke to somebody inside. They passed through. Basically, hey, we've got an anointed guy here, so I need to prepare him for whatever's next. And apparently, the first step of that is shaving your head.
Oh, I'm sure that they're going to try and burn it, but yeah. So what does Victor see as they're shaving his head?
Not much, because he closes the door again. With a perception check, you can see Evie glaring at you.
Evie says telepathic. Victor, do you need help?
I'm sure I will.
All right, I'm here.
So yeah, Victor, they take off your mustache. I'm sure he's got a suave little goatee. Begins taking the hair off in large strips, the eyebrows.
Ew.
That's fine. Victor's gonna. So what is going on in this room that Victor is being shaved in?
You're not. You're being shaved outside of the room. They brought.
Oh, okay.
He plunked
So
a
he's being
stool
shaved
out. Yeah, they plunked a stool outside. There's no light in there. They're not going to shave you in a room with no light.
Okay.
That'd be a really good way to get cut, mister. Evie, what are you doing to fix this?
I assume this is part of Victor's plan, so until he asks me to intervene, I'm just going to watch.
Okay.
Victor hasn't had a plan all campaign. What are you doing?
Victor wants to see what this is gonna go.
Is
Okay, well, at what point do you want me to stop before they burn you?
When the flames are lit, come save me.
Is the title of this episode Treble just going to be Victor Gets a Haircut? Yeah, after the barber is done with his work, opens the door back up a crack, positions himself in between you, Evie, and ushers Victor inside the room. Victor, you're brought inside this room. Another man brusquely kind of grabs you by the wrist, lurches you forward towards the back of the room, puts you up against one of the walls, fishes a key out of the folds of his robe. Visibility in here is very low. Takes him a few tries to find the keyhole properly. And before you know it, your wrist is shackled up to this chain running along the side of the wall, connecting to the man next to you, and the man next to him, and the man next to him. What you can hear and now very clearly is at the far end of the room. You were brought about halfway along the wall. The 5 men that had come in are being verbally berated for their crimes against the one true God. For them, whatever is about to happen next is a punishment.
So how many guard-type people seem to be in this room?
There are 2 people who are in charge of berating and working over these 5 new guys that come in. There's maybe professional berater. There are 4 or 5 other prisoners shackled to the wall on your side. Maybe another 4 shackled to the wall on the opposite side.
Okay, invisibility is really, really bad.
I mean, it's dark in here. There's no light source.
Okay, so can Victor try and pick the locks for the manacles in this position?
Step 1, give me a sleight of hand check at disadvantage. Because you need to find some way to retrieve your thieves' tools with your hands manacled up to this chain. Like, work them up to your mouth with your knees or something.
Disadvantage?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's going to be a 25.
Okay.
Unless I need a sonic die.
And then I need a thieves' tools check at disadvantage.
Reliable talent is some serious bullshit. That's another 25.
Takes you a few moments because you're not able to see the lock and your hands are in a position kind of behind and slightly above your head. But after a few moments, you hear the click and you hear the manacle give way. From here, it would be effortless to slide your hands open, and you are in a dark room. But you also have the option of just staying in this position so nobody else knows that you cracked the lock.
And that's exactly what he's going to do.
Victor, over the course of the next few minutes, the men that have been brought in are one at a time manacled, much like you were, and chained together, but they're chained together in a circle in the back of the room. And putting together bits of information as the professional beraters are taunting and insulting these heretics.
Evie missed her calling. She didn't know professional berater was a job you could get.
Victor, you get a good sense for what the Fair House is for. The people in this room are going to be prepped in such a way that they become the suicide bombers that were unleashed on you previously. All of the prisoners in this room are destined to have a fireball magically implanted inside of them and some sort of trigger with which to release it.
Important question.
Yeah.
Ekon was able to disarm these people, right?
Did he?
Genie did.
One of you...
I thought somebody disarmed them.
Restoration can do it, as far as I know.
Yeah, Genie disarmed, figured out the ones in the village, the bomb guys, that you cast Lesser Restoration, it removes the spell.
Okay.
And
So
then she told Ekon, who did it to some other...
Victor, it doesn't look like they're doing that ritual here. This is a holding pen, essentially.
Oh, yeah.
The men in this room have either committed crimes and they're being punished, or they have volunteered for this work, like you.
Yeah. So Victor, over his beautiful telepathic link, is going to inform everybody that I may have found out where the bombs are being made. I'm going to go find out who's actually making them. And he'll explain what's going on.
And the rest of you come back into the village. Well, Edmont and Orson are going off and doing pole work. Genie and Ekon. You just see Evie just leaning up against the wall with her head in her hand. Just, well, what's the flames on the side of my just...
Victor's being Victor.
Like,
Hashtag just Victor things.
I
Okay,
feel
so
like, I feel like there's like a twin moment where like Evie and Genie like meet eyes, and then she's like, "Oh," and she just nods her head in complete understand. Oh yes, I understand.
Okay, so Victor, your plan is to follow through on this and let them take you to the place where they're going to turn you into a living bomb.
Yeah, we need to find out who's doing this and how they're doing it.
Okay,
Seems reasonable enough.
One, I don't know how long that's going to take. Two, I don't want you to turn into a living bomb.
We know who's doing it. It's the people in the room with you.
No, they don't do that there. This is a
No, it's
holding
not.
cell.
It's being done somewhere else. Guys, I got this. It's fine.
He gets a cold shiver up her spine.
When Victor says he's got it, I don't know if that's. I don't know if he's actually got it. Or not.
Honestly, I trust Victor the most when he's in this kind of situation.
Yeah, now's the time to shine.
All right.
I mean, he
This
hasn't
is
failed
like-
anything so far.
Like
This
we
is
can't.
this is right up his alley.
Wait, to be fair, we can't like rush in and stop him without murdering everybody in the village. So
Yeah.
I could
Godspeed,
murder
Victor.
some subset of the people in the village.
You tell me when they're getting ready to move you, and I'll follow along behind in stealth.
Yeah, we need to wait for a more opportune moment to extract him from this situation at any event. We can't just go and guns blazing in the middle of the town. Everyone will see.
The basic situation here is that some of these people do not want to be here. So if we can save them,
They might give us
maybe
information.
they'll exactly.
Like, Edmont tells Victor that, you tell me when they're getting ready to move you, and I'll follow along.
Yeah, Evie just tells the others, I just want to point out, he volunteered to get chained up like this. He just went up to them and they said they were going to turn him into a suicide bomber. The man's a trouble magnet. I don't know how he does it.
Listen, all I ask is that you don't laugh when you see me next time.
I don't think anybody can make that promise.
Jeannie will absolutely make fun of you. I just want you to know
Victor
this.
absolutely does
She
not tell you
doesn't.
that.
She doesn't know they shaved your eyebrows. But as soon as she sees you, I'm probably going to have to make a roll not to bust out laughing.
Evie can use disguise kit. She can fix you up. Don't worry about it.
Just draw the high arches.
All right, so the plan at the moment is to kind of wait some time out until Victor is taken to wherever he's taken to. You're going to let him see this through?
I'm not on the mind link.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, I
Victor
am?
did-
What are you
Victor
talking
did my link before we went in here.
Oh, okay.
Evie's going to watch the situation very closely.
Okay.
And if something happens where she feels she needs to intervene, she will be nearby to intervene.
My plan is to let this go all the way up, either until they cast a spell or after they cast a spell, and then have Evie and Ekon heal everybody.
Okay, here's the thing, is if this ends with us fighting, then that's going to give away that we're here.
That's why I'm going to take it all the way up to the end.
Considerably before the end, probably Edmont and Orson. Some men call out to you. You there, Smith. We need a couple of strong lads. Come with us.
Not too strong, but I'll do what I can.
I guess Orson gave the
Yeah,
Suikoden name.
Oh,
I'll clap. Yeah. Orson is Schultheim Reinbach the Fourth. I'll clap Orson on the shoulder and nod for him to come with me.
the two of you were told that you're going to be helping to drag and affix the crucifix for the sermon tonight. This task is given to you with some measure that you like. Clearly, they think that you're supposed to feel honored that you're part of this particular task.
Was crucifixion a thing in the Republic?
No.
Nod.
A large pole just outside of the village proper reminds you of the mainmast of a ship. Very, very tall, thick, and round. And along one side of it, some sort of large cloth parcel is affixed, lashed together with ropes. Your job, you and the team of guys doing this, is to drag this thing into the village, affix the bottom of it into this device, and then using ropes and pulleys, pull it up into place. The Red Aethar is going to be coming down and giving a sermon directly tonight. This is seen as a great honor.
Yeah, Edmont looks pretty pleased at that.
Edmont, give me a religion check.
And
10. Okay. He said the red Aethar, not the high Aethar.
yeah,
Are Ekon, Genie, or Evie doing anything over the course of probably the next hour or two?
can I name drop that to Ekon by way of telepathy via Victor?
If all that is still open, you can.
Okay. And what's the location for this exactly?
So they have this giant mainmast kind of log thing they're dragging from off the side of the map. They need to affix it into this structure.
The link is for 10 hours, by the way.
Okay.
Ekon, the phrase red Aethar is functionally meaningless to you.
Mm-hmm.
Wondering if there's some old canon that might have come of it. But yeah, no, Edmont will relay that to the rest of the group via Victor.
So over the next couple of hours, as this work is taking place, Ekon, Genie, and Evie. I mean, if somebody who looks like they're in charge sees you milling about not doing much, you get orders barked at you. Carry this here. Take that over there. You know, grab a push-pull sort of thing. But you determine it's fairly easy to just kind of melt back into the crowd.
Genie is absolutely not doing any work.
Yeah, same.
Fair.
Evie has one of the push pulls just to blend in.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of what Edmont was doing with he was trying to see if maybe there's some gossip around that he could have picked up, but that's fine. But now if he's working this team, that's fine too.
Okay. I mean, the men you're working with, you're trying to chat them up. Because it's you and Orson and another team, a team of guys. You guys aren't dragging this large log by yourselves.
Yeah.
Okay. You can tell when the chatter is a little more free and when it's not. It's difficult for you to pick up on the social cues of the place. But there are people who are like, who are bosses, who are management, who are in charge of things. And then you just have the grunt work that you're doing now. You don't have a good sense for who is who, but the team that you're working with, you can tell there are certain people they'll talk around and certain people that won't.
Yeah.
Two of the men on the team you're working with having a hushed argument in Darkanese. One of them wants to flee the village. The other thinks it's too dangerous. And the reason they're even having this argument is a short time ago, the High Aethar had this huge magic ritual in front of everybody that filled the skies with fire that coalesced into the monster that you all eventually faced. And he did this twice over the period of a couple of days.
Uh-oh.
He hasn't been seen since. And a lot of the chatter around here is that the effort that went into that kind of miracle has spent him. There are questions about whether the High Aethar is dead or injured or sick and dying. All they know for sure is that he went back into the tower and has not returned to the village.
I will relay that to the others, and also I will point out to note the significance of both Red Aethar and the High Aethar.
Okay, so one Firebird was sent to us. I think the other was sent to kill Darkwood. Is that correct?
That's correct. That
Oh, yeah.
jives with what
Okay.
you had learned. Darkwood's a badass to take a phoenix down on his own.
Well, of course he would. That's how he gets back up.
And then he probably ate a fucking omelet afterwards.
That's right. Darkwood is your self-insert Mary Sue.
He's the DM's God mode NPC.
Yeah, I made a Phoenix down joke and nobody fucking picked up.
Nope. Nobody went for it. Sorry.
I didn't hear it. I'm sorry, McDohl.
Edmont, they have you climbing up on this rubble around here, affixing ropes to pulleys and things, and after a while, you get this whole pole. A team of guys aligning it down into this device in the ground. You and Orson up on the wall pulling ropes, and it's hard labor. But there is a very satisfying thunk as the thing falls into place, a good 1.5 feet or so into the ground.
Is there anything at the top of it?
Yes, that cloth baggage that had been lashed up with ropes
And
is
nobody
fixed up to the top.
Nobody messed with it prior to us lifting it up there?
No, it's a good 20 or 30 feet overhead now.
Okay. I can get up there, no problem.
Yeah,
I'm gonna-
you and the team are
hiding
told,
my power level, though, as it were.
good work, lads, and you're directed where you can go and get a ration of rum or something for your trouble.
Yeah, take that.
Shortly after what they were calling the crucifix is in place, Victor,
Yeah.
a team of more important looking red robe cultists enters into the place. And as light spills into the room from the open door, you can see that the men around you have not been as well treated as you. Some of these guys might have been lashed up here for days or weeks or longer. One by one, and seemingly arbitrarily, they point out several of the prisoners. One of the team from the pool cart from earlier. They select 3 of the men. Then his eyes fall on you. That one too. One by one, they come over, take the keys to the manacles, unshackle the men. The one closest to you begins weeping softly as they lead him away. They go ahead and pull the red robes down over their bald heads and over their eyes. The man comes to unlock your manacles. They come off much more easily than he was anticipating. And they're going to lead you away with this group of there'll be 4 of you together, 4 prisoners being taken from the room.
Okay. How many are still left in the room?
Probably 8 or 9 or so, because there was 4 along one wall, 4 along the other, and then the team of 5 guys that you got into trouble. Like, they'd be push-polling now if not for you.
Victor will relay the information that he's about to go with. 4 of these, there's still a number of men in the area. Keep an eye out for when they're taken away.
Jeannie, give me a perception check.
Sure. That is a 4.
A 4. Okay.
Yeah.
You get a psionic heads up that Victor is being taken out with some of the other prisoners. But as you stand and looking at them being marched up the center path of the village, you can't tell which one's Victor. They're just 4 nondescript guys hunched forward with red robes covering their faces.
Are they bound?
They're not, but they're being ushered on either side by men with white trim on their red robes, each of them clutching a staff. At this point, other people are starting to usher the crowd away from the structure where you all are standing, out towards the commons area nearer to the well.
Evie will telepathically to Victor. Victor, I think we've missed our window.
Jeannie will tell somebody to tell Victor to make a what is the word here? Like just make a subtle signal so that we can know which one's you.
Victor will accidentally partially trip. Stumble over his feet.
Okay. So you know which one is Victor now, because as soon as you ask for that cue.
Mont will keep an eye on that. I'll keep an eye on Victor then.
Okay. Orson is going to stick with one of you. Who wants Orson?
I'll take him. I'll stick with him.
Ekon, where are you going to position yourself?
Let's see here.
So are they? Is it clear that they're marching them? They're marching them here, right?
Oh yes.
Okay.
I think Ekon will take place behind this well where he has some decent visibility on the whole town.
Okay.
Evie might be able to slip out and free the prisoners.
I don't know what good that would do right now.
Hell of a distraction.
If it comes to that, I could. That's an idea, but we'll see what happens. It may be that we need to act to keep
If we
Victor
leave a
from
distraction, you can free the prisoners.
Yeah.
So Victor and the three men. Basically, you're told when they bring up around this large, functionally main mast that has been set down into the ground here, you're told to take to your knees and assume supplication. Victor, give me a religion check. See if you actually know what that means.
He went to the old
Well,
Aetherine.
it's an 18.
An 18?
Is an 18 good enough?
Okay. This is a method of prayer that is not commonly, it wouldn't be used like a common service, but if you were doing atonement in the church for some reason, there's a particular stance that you would be expected to take up, where you are on your knees on the ground with your feet behind you, your arms folded in front of you, and your head bowed so that your neck is exposed at the top. The three men around you take this prayer stance. I don't know if you've ever tried this, but it's kind of a painful position to hold for long periods of time.
Yeah, Victor will go with it.
Okay, but they're not making any motions to tie any of you up. They're not like lashing you to this thing. They're not putting more manacles on you. They've just told you to assume this position. I was not planning to have a PC up here for this scene. This makes it a lot more interesting.
Victor will assume the position and tell Edmont to let him know what's going on.
Yeah.
You guys amongst the crowd, word is that the Red Aethar, Havaruk, is going to come down and give a sermon in lieu of the High Aethar himself.
Rook is a great bad guy name.
It's pretty good. How do you know he's a bad guy? You never met him.
I have it contextually. He's not a good guy.
He's part of a fire cult, Rick.
You don't ask Cavalrook to help you like move when you're going to a new apartment.
That's probably racist. So probably. Just...
Havaruk sounds like a really bad hobgoblin name, though.
It does. Havaruk is Razu's mate.
The men with the staves, I say men, there are women amongst them too, but the cultists with the staves and the white trim on their robe, functionally, I'm just going to refer to them as bishops. That just makes it easier for me.
Well, those are pawns, not bishops.
The Red Priest, saw you're fired.
They only move diagonally?
Block.
I know you can spawn bishop pieces out of this board, Brick Road.
Those are not pawns. Those are just tokens.
Okay.
The Red Aethar himself is actually wearing an inverse of the robes the bishops are. His are white, trimmed with red around the edge. And unlike the other workers, the other cultists you see who do take great pains to avoid eye contact with their betters or with each other, this man walks with his head held high. He has a stern face. Difficult to pinpoint his age, but his beard and his bushy eyebrows are graying somewhat. He takes up... Yes, everybody's human.
Okay.
No, this is the first dwarf of the campaign. You found him.
Hell yeah.
There he is.
Genie tells Victor through the mind link that, like, I will pull you out. Just give me a signal declaring that you're being called to air or something. Just something loud, obnoxious, and visible. Like, so just be you, really loud, and
Be
I
the
will
most
pull you.
You.
All right?
Okay.
And I will get you out.
Edmont,
Sir.
one of the Teamsters you were working with earlier finds you in the crowd.
Yeah.
Asks you to help him with his last rope.
Sure.
Edmont, he takes you up and around the back, so you can still hear the sermon around the side, and you can peek in through the back wall of the room here, in through some of the rubble. You can see where Victor is taking up this prayer stance of supplication in front of him.
Mm-hmm. I can see his bald head, his shaved eyebrows.
You cannot, because the robe is pulled up over his head.
Okay.
Otherwise, you would
No,
burst
that
out
one's
laughing and give the whole game away.
Yeah.
The Red Aethar, Havaruk, steps forth, holds its arms out to his sides with his palms up, as though lifting something of great weight above him. Welcome to God's house. I am sure that High Aethar Christen is very happy to have true believers gathered here. He's speaking in impeccable Darkanese, clearly his first language. Although, it is strange if he's supposed to be giving a sermon that he's not speaking in Aetherine. Now, as usual, he says, he brings his hands down, folds them in front of him. I have a message from the High Aethar. He starts scanning his eyes accusingly over the assembled crowd.
How big is the crowd right now, by the way?
Everybody in the village is crowded into the square now, so a good 40 or 50 people at least.
Okay.
Except for the ones who are still charged with, say, like, guarding the fair house down here. There are people who dislike us. There are people possessed by forces unseelie who follow the false god. And right now, there are non-believers with us. He holds his hands again. Orson nudges you. Who's standing next to Orson?
He was standing next to Edmund, but you called him away.
Oh, well, he's sidled up next to Evie then.
Oh.
Leans in. Do you think he's talking about us?
No, they say that all the time. This is just how their sermons go.
I follow the words of our true God. I prayed for guidance, and I found the non-believers. I found the evil people hiding amongst us. Ladies and gentlemen, take a look. Edmont, the man next to you, elbows. That's our cue. He grabs a hold of the rope.
Edmont, take hold.
And as you tug, you feel some resistance high up on the pole. And after a moment, the cloth tears away, revealing an unconscious man lashed to the very top by ropes. His wrists above his head, a rope across his torso, another across his waist, and then down along his ankles. Ladies and gentlemen, Havaruk turns his eyes upward to the bound man. This is the non-believer, guided here by unseelie forces.
Edmont cranes his neck to try and see who it is, if he recognizes him.
You do recognize him. This is the man who came to your village weeks ago,
Oh no, that friend.
who introduced himself to you as nothing but friend, who Ekon had long philosophical debates with, and then you turned loose.
Friend is bound to the top of the mast, Victor.
We have to say friend.
This man has conferred with the unseelie forces and was trying to destroy our true God. There are cries from amongst the group, murmurings, burn him, kill him, destroy the unbeliever. But as you can see, he is powerless in front of the flames of air. And he lets the murmurings continue for a few moments before holding his hands out in front of him in a somewhat apologetic stance. Ladies and gentlemen, we must not hold a feeling of hate, no matter how unseelie he is. We must instead teach him the ways of air and try to change his heart.
Hey, Brick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need him to roll initiative.
Oh, god damn it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
everybody.
was gonna ask Genie to use Vortex Warp.
You're
Well, I was
supposed to
getting-
let me start this.
That would also have been initiative. Yeah, go ahead. Everybody can roll some initiative.
Yeah.
Damn it.
The genie was getting ready to do that,
I
so
was
that,
waiting
it's
to
fine.
start this.
I have an initiative bonus now because my dex went up.
Are you on 15, Edmont?
I sure am.
Okay, I'm also 15, but you can go first.
I'm also 15. I want to go first.
Okay, I'll go 13. That's fine.
Go back 12.
Orson's at 14. I'm at
Yeah, 12.
I got a huge pile up with our party right there.
All right.
16.
So on this initiative order,
Mm-hmm.
white are the two bishops flanking the red Aethar. Purple is the red Aethar himself, and red is just the crowd all around
Victor, you and I
Yeah,
are on the same, but you go ahead. Just move up.
Now, go ahead and assume that every... I'll just draw a box. This will be the easiest way to do it, I think.
Oh, good. We're starting a fight with a dozens of instant people with a bunch of fire mages. There's no way this will go badly.
You can assume that this whole box is just a crowd of people.
And that's such difficult terrain.
Yeah, that's probably a fair assumption.
As such, also full of.
I only got halfway through the sermon. That's too bad.
So,
We got the gist.
okay, so he's halfway through the sermon. Ekon basically says, fuck this, and
So-
now we're ready to go.
Here's what happens. Rolling initiative. White is surprised. I'm assuming you didn't tell the bishops what's going on.
Wasn't planning to, no.
Havaruk cannot be surprised. And Victor, did you tell, or Ekon, did you tell everybody that you were about to pop off, or are you just popping off?
Yeah, whoever's on the mind link.
So who is that?
That'd be
Oh,
like,
that's okay.
Definitely Victor.
everybody.
Anybody not on the mind link is going to be surprised this round.
I've been talking to Victor, so I'm on it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
Yeah, everybody's on my mic.
So everybody is? Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
so
he says, Havaruk, in the middle of his speech, he gets to the part where he's talking about teaching him the ways of air to try to change his heart, and he turns his back to the crowd to address the man on the pole, but he gets halfway across and instead turns back and faces out into the crowd and looks directly towards the well.
Ekon staring daggers.
So is it Victor's turn?
That's going to bring us to Victor.
Okay. What is this giant green thing that's next to me?
That's the pole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so his back is turned to Victor, which is going to make this really exciting. But you say you can't be surprised, right?
He is not surprised, but you didn't see him do anything. It looked like he was going to continue this lecture that he's given. But yeah, he definitely knows something is up.
Yeah, no, if he can't be surprised, that means I have to do something special to sneak attack him. Yeah, so we're gonna steady aim, and then we are going to hit him with a psionic dagger where it counts.
Genie,
Right between the spine.
Yep.
what's your passive perception?
11.
11? Okay. So you're going to attack him from your position, Victor?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm sure he's got some sort of protection, but that's okay.
So this is literally exactly what I said. Do not do this.
Yep.
And then they just do it.
And then Ekon decided he was going to do something.
I mean, I wasn't gonna use a lethal attack, but hey.
I think you're talking to the wrong group of people for like non-lethal attacks. 1 in 400. There you go.
Bear with me one moment.
Okay. Because if a 15 doesn't hit, then I'm going to have to do something.
A 15 will hit.
Okay.
In reaction to being attacked by Victor, he is going to cast a spell.
I'm sure he will.
Hellish Rebuke.
Should I roll damage?
9th level.
Oh yeah.
Should I roll damage, or is the spell going to prevent this?
If nobody stops him from casting a spell, no, there's no point to rolling damage. As you send a psychic dagger in his direction, he lifts his robe up and disappears in a cloud of mist. The dagger instead flies out into the crowd and puts somebody's eye out.
Does it, though? Because it's psychic.
It puts someone's brain out.
It psychically puts somebody's eye out.
It's just like they just lose the ability to see out of their right
And
eye.
there is a loud commotion and murmuring from the crowd now.
Victor will yell out, "Find the intruders!"
That's going to bring us to Genie.
Genie is going to take a step back
Yep.
out of the crowd, and then friend. She's going to drop the wand, her crafted wand, out of her sleeve and vortex warp friend somewhere over here.
You've got the range to do that?
Yeah, it's range of 90 feet.
Okay.
He's just 90. So he's now 90 feet off the map.
So you pulled him back behind you somewhere?
Yeah, just back behind me somewhere off the map.
And what does that visually look like?
I don't think it visually looks like anything. I think it's just like you're there and then you're not.
Okay.
Like there's no smoke or nothing.
But yeah,
It's just
the ropes that were holding him,
maybe just a light popping sound.
the ropes that were holding him to the top of this pole go slack, and one of them slides partially down, and the shouts from the crowd, "He's gone! He's vanished! Along with the red Aethar!" Moving or staying put?
Genie is going to slide the wand back up into her hand and then like proceed to just, oh my god, and then stay put.
Edmont.
Like, oh my air, what is going on? This is so strange.
It's a miracle.
Well, Victor completely took a poop on my plans, but okay.
He does that. He's taking poop on my plans too.
Got Edmont with Evie.
Don't blame Victor. I can send roll initiative.
Well, we don't know what he was going to do, and now we'll never know.
Nope, I'll never tell.
Yeah, I'll lean out holding the rope. That would hold it. Did the rope go slack at all once we pulled it?
Well, the ropes that you pulled were
On the
keeping
mast?
the cloth in place. All you guys did was
Okay.
revealed what was attached up there.
Okay.
No, your ropes weren't structural at all. He was bound to the top with certain ropes, and once he got vortex warped away, those ropes went slack and fell down along the pole.
Drop the rope and look up at the mast in confusion.
That's exactly what the man next to you was doing, just gobsmacked.
I'm actually going to. Do I want to try this?
This guy's no longer here, right?
He vanished in a puff of mist.
Can I make an active perception to see if I can maybe track where he might have gone?
That uses up your
If
action.
everybody else is crowded around here.
If you'd like to use your action to do that, yes.
Yes. I would. 17.
You do see the form of Havaruk on a nearby wall. And he is scanning angrily inside of the building, although you can tell that people in the crowd have not noticed his new position.
I'm going to deliberately not, but I'm going to look at him, but I'm going to keep him. I'm going to track his movements.
Are you going to tell us
Because
where he is?
So whatever magic he used, he teleported from this position up onto the top of this wall here.
It looks like Misty Step.
All I can do is telepathy to Victor that he moved to the building to the east.
Victor, from your position, you've got a wall in between you and him, so you don't have line of sight to him from there.
What are the other 3 red guys doing?
They're in a prayer of supplication. You're the only one who's...
Supplication? Okay.
Yeah, you're the only
In
one
about
who's
a
not.
quarter of a second.
Edmont, moving or staying put?
I'm staying put here.
All right, who's next?
Got Evie with Orson.
Evie's gonna panic and scream "run" and try to compel the crowd to disperse. She does not want a big crowd of people around in a fight with a bunch of fire priests.
Are you using a feature or a spell or something to do this, or are you just trying to persuade them?
I mean, I don't have any ways to magically compel them.
Or are you just trying to add to the panic and confusion and get them to...
I'm trying to tell them run.
Okay,
I guess
give me
that's persuasion?
a persuasion check. This is as your action for the round.
Yep, that's fine. That's a 17.
We call this the I'm Captain Bosch gambit.
Oh, God.
Evie, you just start shouting to people, run, run. And nobody in your general vicinity does, but you do see the crowd murmuring. Some of them else starts taking up the call, and you do see people start to spread out. Nobody has control over the situation at the moment. The next few seconds are going to be abject chaos.
Abject chaos. The thing we excel in.
Evie, moving or staying put? Do you yourself run?
This is difficult terrain, right?
We're going to count the crowd as difficult terrain, at least for the next round or
10,
two.
20, 25, 30. Yeah, I'll move near Genie. Where's Friend? He's down here somewhere?
You have no idea. Only Genie knows for sure.
Okay. And I don't see this guy either, right?
From that position, no, because you did looking up through the crowd, and nobody's... You'd have to use an active perception to find him in that position.
Okay. Don't really have anything I can do as a bonus unless someone else wants to move.
Okay. Who's next?
I'll take a movement.
Oh no, I have to use that as an action. Never mind.
So we've got Orson with Ekon.
Orson is going to 10, 20, 30, move to the edge of the crowd here
Okay.
and dodge.
And dodge. Okay. Who's next?
Okay, so Ekon, 10, 20, 25, 30, action dash, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I don't think I have a useful bonus action, so that's probably the end of my turn. Then we've got red token. What were these white tokens again?
Those are the two
Bishops.
bishops.
That's what I thought. Okay, so we've got red token with white tokens on deck.
The crowd is... I mean... To use any one particular verb to describe what the crowd is doing would be misleading, because no two people in the crowd are doing the exact same thing. Some of them are taking the opportunity to disperse. Some of them are breaking rank. Others are still calling out angrily to burn the heretic. Others are calling out, asking where the Red Aethar is gone. Others are just looking around dumbfounded. Victor.
Yeah.
You hear the man in front of you. He's still in his supplicant's position, but he calls out, "It was the man behind me! He had a knife! He threw a knife!" And he sounds terrified, but as he calls out, the two bishops turn towards you, and you know that the game is up.
And what do they do?
That's not their turn. They just know that you're the man who threw
Oh,
a
it is
knife.
their turn.
It is kind of their turn
Oh,
after
okay.
the round is over.
Oh, they're after red?
Yeah,
Yep.
they're first on 20.
We're all clustered together right here in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bear with me one moment. Victor, I need a wisdom saving throw, please.
With the 5.
A 5?
Actually, it'd be a 6.
A 6? Okay.
Now, Genie. Now.
Victor, one of the bishops holds up his hand towards you and commands you to return to your supplicant's position.
So I guess he does.
Yeah, you are charmed by him for the duration of this spell. Let me see if you're able to repeat the save at any point. So you can't attack this particular bishop or target him with harmful abilities or magical effects. He's got advantage to do anything he wants against you. Anytime you take damage, you can make a wisdom save against the spell again. But they're too smart to start beating on you right now.
Yeah. So I can attack the other bishop, just not that one.
Well, you probably won't be able to attack either of them.
That would require you to get out of your supplication
Supplicant's
pose.
position.
Yeah, at this point, you're magically compelled to hold that prayer stance. The other one speaks several magic words as well. He also casts a spell. And several of the coils of rope that have fallen to the ground begin looping Victor around your ankles and around your wrists. And as the bishop raises his hand above his head, the second one for his action, he begins to telekinetically lift you up the mast.
Okay.
So that's fun.
That is
Not
fun.
worried yet.
Wow,
got,
Victor's being crucified. I didn't see
Now,
this coming.
Evie,
I don't want to move. We've got purple with Victor.
Evie, does this count as the very end yet?
I think this is the very end.
Nah, we got a little ways to go. There's like, no fire has been thrown around. We're good.
Yeah, he hasn't taken any damage yet, but when you're being hung on a cross, you don't have long.
Not even a cross, though.
No, it's just a large pole, like a telephone pole with ropes at the top of it.
Well, then technically that's not a crucifixion.
Havaru calls out. When he does, he gets the crowd's attention again. The people who had turned to disperse stop doing so. The people who are calling out for murder cease their hollering. Havaru calls from his position, addressing Victor, being hoisted telekinetically to the top of the mast. No, ladies and gentlemen, we must not harbor feelings of hate, no matter how unseelie. We must teach him the ways of air and try to change his heart.
Genie whispers, like, he keeps using that word. I don't think he knows what it unseelie actually means.
He calls forth as Victor. How far could telekinesis move you when we're around? Like 20 feet? So you're not all the way at the top yet, but you will be next turn. First, what is your name? Victor, you have not been commanded to speak, and in fact, you find it impossible to do so. Havaru continues. Oh, you don't want to speak to us? Well, okay. You don't want to tell me, so I'll tell you. Victor Veritas. And there are gasps from amongst the crowd. That's going to be the end of Havaru's turn. Who's next?
Next up, we've got Victor with Genie.
Victor, this might be the least useful turn I've ever seen happen in Dungeons & Dragons.
Like, is he floating in the air, still struggling to, like, maintain, like...
They have hoisted him up with ropes that they are telekinetically using to drag him up to the top of this pole.
Like, I'm trying to, like, visually, like, is he trying to, like, get back into that position?
He's trying to maintain it as best he can. And that's functionally all he can do. He does not even get to repeat this save. Oh, by the way, now, Genie, you can clearly see that he has no eyebrows. So I'm going to need you to...
Or check.
You just start bursting out laughing at the back of the crowd.
Yeah, no.
It's the funniest thing you've ever seen.
Victor just hears like riotous laughter in the mind link.
It's
Oh.
clearly Genie that he hears laughing from the back.
So there's
Oh, no,
literally
she said it's telepathic laughter.
Oh, that's even better.
No, both.
Oh,
You still have the telepathic link up, but other than that, I don't think there's any action you can take as these ropes are beginning to restrain you now.
And how long does this spell last?
You have no idea what spell was even used.
We need to get him out of there.
So yeah, unless you're going to telepathically communicate with one of your companions.
Yeah, I mean, Victor's gonna tell Genie to shut the fuck up and get him down.
You hear a yeah.
So that's the end of Victor's turn. And you know what? I actually really like this particular moment in time to take a 15-minute break. Just let Victor dangle there in front of God and everybody for a little bit.
this is a little bit of a cliffhanger, yeah.
Why don't you guys go ahead, get your coffee, get your bagel. Let's reconvene at about 4:45.
This is a very similar situation to Victor starting in the cube.
Yeah,
Yeah.